ASSANE of Congo 1. Kingdom under the Indian Ocean Part 1. ASSANE of Congo 1. Kingdom under the Indian Ocean Part 1. Chapter 1. Centuries of War and Battle. Beloved, the devil is leading a war against humanity. The Bible says in Revelation 12:12, "Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time." World Summit of Satanists. At the dawn of this new century, the devil extolled and bragged about his victory against the kingdom of God. In this gathering, he said to the assistants, "I have overcome." After centuries of proclamation and preaching the good news of the gospel, God has failed to save humanity. The world population is still in my hands. We have the advantage in this war and battle for the souls of men. The Bible has failed to save mankind. We will win this war about the fate of human souls. In this meeting, the power of Lucifer has agreed with the king of the earth to strike humanity with a global cataclysm of apocalyptic proportion. They have determined the date and the hour of this calamity. It was in 2004 when the tsunami hit the earth. The aquatic monster was beneficiary because it devoured and consumed 400,000 souls. This monster comes out of the ocean in December and returns to the ocean after 6 months on the surface of the earth in June. This demon looks like Father Christmas. Santa is a demon who is the precursor of the sea monster. The red color of his clothes represents the human blood that must flow in the period of the end of the year, and the siren Jezebel is also very active during the period of celebration of the end of the year. She bewitches humanity to focus on the celebration and the purchase of materials, articles, and clothes. Many people are killed from November to December, but they physically die in January, February, March. Chapter 2. My background. Hello, my name is ASSANE. I was in the White Magic of Osiris branch from 1992 to 2003. I studied parapsychology and syncretism, which includes many esoteric disciplines. But it was my union with the siren of the Indian Ocean that opened my eyes to many secrets. It was my wife, the oceanic siren, that revealed to me the secret of the universe. I was born into a family that was deeply in tradition and superstition. Basically, it all started when my parents died. Because of their death, I have no notion of parental or maternal love. I was young when they died. I found myself in misery and poverty. Then a man in the neighborhood who worked in the National Airline Company, who knew me very well and who was aware of the fact that I was an orphan, gave me a book. This man knew that I was going through difficulties and misery. But this man was an occultist. I was 19 years old when this man gave me this book called The Secret of Success. I started reading this book until I read the whole book in its entirety without knowing it was a book on magic. However, when I finished reading this book, I noticed behind the book it was written the following: "You are indeed in the magic branch of Osiris." The fact that you have finished reading this book makes you an initiative to the magic of Osiris. You cannot back away, otherwise, there will be consequences. You will die or you will become crazy. So you must confirm your affiliation by writing to the address above. Considering that I was in poverty and despair, I told myself that there was nothing to lose. I started to write to the address that was indicated in this book. I wrote to them telling them of my needs and concerns, and they responded to my letters. We must understand that the devil is poor. When people come to him, he gives them their own money. I mean, every human being has a budget that God had prepared for him. But when you go to the devil for wealth, he gathers together all the money that God gave you and he gives it back to you. The devil takes the money that God gave people as their budget and gives it to them in one installment. In reality, it's their own money. Chapter 3. My initiation in occultism. After some time, this branch of magic started sending me articles and magic utensils for the ceremonial ritual and prayer of incantation. When I was initiated into magic, I developed telepathic and telekinetic ability, so much so that I could inject thoughts into the minds of people. I could even supplant people's thoughts with other thoughts. I was taught astrology, palmistry, and necromancy. Every time a man signs a contract with the devil, the beneficiary is always the devil, who never respects the terms of the package because he is a deceiver. When I signed the contract with the invisible world, it was written in the parchment, "You will help us in the physical world and we will help you in the invisible world." But the devil is a deceiver. Indeed. I remember a famous comedian in our country who had signed a contract with a demon of the pandemonium world. This demon was the god of comedy and humor, the one who makes people laugh in the infernal world of Satan. When the comedian had signed a pact with his demon, he did not know that there were terms and conditions that were hidden in the agreement that he had signed. As a result, this comedian fell victim because the demon of the comedy killed his son. In fact, to get something from Lucifer, you will need his signature and that of Beelzebub and Ashtaroth. While I was corresponding with this occultic branch of magic, they sent me a powder called catalyst, which I was to place on my forehead at night. It allowed me to dominate everybody in the neighborhood. As my initiation was evolving, my personality changed. I spoke less and I listened more. So I had developed a sense of observation. In addition to that, I became more and more wise and intelligent. I could read the thoughts of people. I could also treat people through meditation. In parapsychology, things are done by thoughts and gestures of hands and feet, because thought and meditation create cosmic effects. Thanks to the control of my mind, I had become powerful and higher. In consequence, I began to meet people of different esoteric branches. I started to share knowledge with Rosicrucians and Freemasons. As I progressed in the magic of Osiris, I wanted more knowledge and more power and as quickly as possible, but in the lodge where I was affiliated, there were many procedures and protocols. However, I was anxious to get more power and knowledge. Indeed, occultism is like a great ocean. Once you're inside, you will be trying to penetrate more deeply for more knowledge and more power. So I wanted to speed up the process of gaining knowledge and occult power. In this process, one of my friends in the mystical circle suggested to me to get in touch with the world of sirens and mermaids. He advised me to marry a mermaid. He gave me protocol and instructions, which I had to follow to get in touch with the ocean kingdom of mermaids and sirens. Immediately, I started writing letters on the parchment that I was sending to the mermaid kingdom of the ocean, and the mermaid world was responding to my letters. Chapter 4. The Journey to the World Beneath the Indian Ocean. After some time while the correspondence continued, I finally decided to meet these supernatural beings face to face. For that, I had received instructions about the procedure to follow. There were many precautions that I had to take before invoking these pre-Adamic beings, because they are powerful and extremely dangerous. Otherwise, I risked losing my life. I knew that I could lose my life if I failed to do things properly. It was therefore necessary for me to impose myself some physical and psychic discipline. I was told that once I land in the world of mermaids in the ocean, all my protections would amount to nothing. The prerequisite was to fast and pray while reciting certain incantatory prayers in a specific order for a number of days. This discipline was meant to harden my heart against the temptation of sirens, mermaids, and goddesses of the ocean. Because there are many traps in the universe of sirens, if anyone succumbs to any of their temptations, it is difficult to find the way back to the earth. It would be death. It is easier to enter the submarine kingdom than to get out of it because the majority of the population are female. These beings hardly let the male visitors leave their dimension. So it was necessary to fast to avoid emotions such as fear, astonishment, panic, and so on. It was necessary to fast in order to avoid one of these feelings. That is why I had to observe this fasting for several days. Here we can see how not to be seduced by sirens. The magician must fast for a few days in order to achieve demonic goals. How much more really should children of God pray and fast to resist the lusts of the world? In order to come to a mermaid I needed to perform magic. Conjuring this kind of invocation was risky and very dangerous. A few days later, my colleague showed me the riverside where the siren came regularly. I was to impose myself some abstinence before going to the river. After some days of fasting, I went to the riverside and I began to recite the invocation prayer when suddenly I began to feel a very strong wind blowing around the river. Despite this initial manifestation, I continued to do magical prayers. Suddenly, a powerful whirlwind rose above the river. Right away, I saw fires and strange phenomena. These paranormal phenomena were just the precursor to the appearance of these mythical and supernatural entities. Then suddenly, I saw a serpent, a huge one, appearing above the river. After the manifestation of this serpent, I saw the goddess of the Indian Ocean appearing. The goddess of India stood above this mythical snake. She was tall and beautiful. I was shaking in front of this entity. After her appearance, the mermaid said to me, "I am the Queen ASSANE of India. What can I do for you?" I said to her, "You are the only one in all the universe that can fill the need of my heart." She said to me, "Follow me." I followed the Queen of the Indian Ocean in her submarine kingdom. We must understand that after the fall of Lucifer he wandered in the physical and the material universe. In the end, he decided to build a civilization. The moment I entered the mermaid world, I noticed that there was no sun, no stars. It was similar to an imaginary world, but it was real. It was the realm of Diva and the great ladies of the sea. The popular musician Kofi sang a song in which he mentioned this mermaid kingdom located under the Indian Ocean. In his song, he complimented and praised the great ladies of the sea, who are also called Diva. I said that the sirens closer to the devil are called Tritons. They are ruled by Queen Alida, who dwell in Brazil. Beloved, a mermaid is not a man nor woman. She is a spirit, a demon. She takes on the appearance of any race and any shape. So when we entered this kingdom under the Indian Ocean, I was received very well. There was a party for me. In this feast, there were many great ladies of the sea that came to the celebration held for me. I was the guest of the goddess of India, who governs this world under the Indian Ocean. She made me visit her universe. Almost all the population in this world was made up of women who looked alike. Later, I had to choose one for myself. While visiting this universe underwater, I noticed calmness, serenity, and peace in this mysterious world. The goddess seems to be welcoming and hospitable. After the visit, the Queen of the Indian Ocean said to me, "You will be visited by many of the great ladies of the sea. You will have to choose one." When I was about to return to the earth, she explained to me the kind of food that these ladies of the sea eat on the earth. Then I left this kingdom and I emerged at the river bank where I entered this fantastic world. Then the Queen ASSANE of India and the invisible world disappeared. Chapter 5. Life with my wife the mermaid. When I returned home, I saw pictures of mermaids and ladies of the sea. They were mystically placed in my wardrobe. Since that day, the ladies of the sea visited me at specific times. I was supposed to choose from the many pictures of mermaids that appeared in my wardrobe. The woman that I choose would become my wife. One day at night, I was visited by those ladies of the sea who were in the photos. When they landed in my room, they started to dance provocatively and sexily in order to seduce me. I was supposed to avoid succumbing to their seduction, otherwise, I would be transported to their universe under the sea, never to return to earth again, and so I had to resist them until dawn. When it was 4 o'clock in the morning, they all left. They went back to the kingdom of the Indian Ocean, but I noticed that one of the divas had stayed. She congratulated me for having resisted her friends who were trying to seduce me. She said, "I am the one that you have chosen in the photo. I am your wife. I am Shanta." After this introduction, this woman of the ocean gave me instructions and prohibition that I had to observe. She said to me, "ASSANE, you can only eat food cooked by your mother, but not another woman of this earth. You must be hygienic. You're going to change your underwear every day. You're never going to marry an earthly woman anymore. I started living with this mermaid of the kingdom located beneath the Indian Ocean. She imparted to me power and strength. I became powerful. As I lived with her, she gave me wealth and wisdom. The mermaid had the knowledge of thousands of years because she is a pre-Adamic creature who has witnessed the birth of Jesus on earth. One day she said to me, "ASSANE, do you know that this earth belongs to us? We control 90% of this world. These Christians are only 10%. Everything that you see on this earth has our signature and our stamp. The nations belong to us. Politics, finance, and the world economy belong to us. All the industries that you see on the earth belong to us. Whether it's the jewelry industry, cosmetics, and the beauty industry, they are in our hands. The fashion and trend belong to us. New technology and cellular technology are invented in our underwater world. Every time those Christians who are our hostile enemies run after the things of this world, they come to us because things of this world belong to us. Even technology and science belong to us. Beloved, the church is supposed to be an ideal place because people are supposed to be altruistic. The apostles were altruistic, they completely and radically abandoned this world. And they were totally separated from this world and all the things of this world because the world and the things that are there belong to the devil. All that you see in this world belongs to the devil, like good cars, clothing, their tendency and fashion, beauty and wealth. A true Christian must separate and detached from the world. But today pastors are running after the things of this world that belong to the devil. They only preach about the earthly good. This world actually does not belong to the Christian. 90% of the world belongs to the devil. The disciples of Jesus Christ died poor because they have preferred to lose the world and to gain eternal life. They did not love life on earth. That's why they all inherited the kingdom of God. If you are a Christian, and you want to win the world that belongs to the devil, you are going to lose your soul. Because as far as I know, all the good things you see on this earth belong to the devil. You have to look at the eternal things and reject the physical things that are temporary. That's why Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." Christianity has nothing to do with the material things of this world. In principle on this earth, the life of each man comprises 5 components, which are food, clothing, wealth, honor, and glory. Men's souls are lost because of 3 of these 5 pieces, which are wealth, honor, and glory. That is why men who are contented with the 2 components of life that are food and clothes avoid perdition. That means that they decided to live in simplicity and austerity during their stay on earth, hoping to live the other components of life in heaven. A true Christian finds that it is enough to dress and to eat. He does not seek glory, power, and wealth. These are the last 3 things that separate men from their Lord and lead them to death. 1 Timothy 6:6-11 But godliness with contentment is great gain. 7 For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. 8 But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. 9 Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. 10 For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Chapter 6. The Mermaid and the Mystery of the Universe. When I started living with the mermaid, she started revealing to me the names of fallen angels and powers that rule and govern the world. She told me that in every aspect and area of human life, there are specific entities in charge that you can call for help. This lady showed me how to call and summon entity and power in whatever problem I encounter on earth. She says to me, there are entities and demons that you can call for help in all the situations you find yourself in, whether it's health, science, physical strength, favor, wisdom. She enabled me to call and summon these entities and powers to intervene in all kinds of situations I face. I remember one day I was assaulted by a wrestler who was also an occultist. I was really in trouble. Immediately I recited an incantation. As a result, the devil appeared in the form of a 3-headed serpent, and he resolved the situation. So thanks to the secret knowledge of the universe that I obtained from Shanta, I began to dominate the people in the neighborhood. I learned many secrets of the spirit world through this diva of the ocean that was my wife. As I was living with my new wife of the sea, one day I got sick. Immediately she called a demon who deals with health and healing in the world of Satan by the name of Dr. Zuzabi. This demon came and gave me treatment and care. As a result, I was healed. Many years later when I got sick, this lady of the sea began to show me the properties, the virtues, and the secrets of the plants and trees. She revealed to me what is hidden in plants and trees. The mermaid revealed to me the mystery of the chemical properties of plants and leaves. She revealed to me what I can call herbal medicine. She told me that I could use the leaves of plants and trees for healing. She showed me specific trees for remedies to specific diseases. I remember one day I got sick, the mermaid sent me to get leaves of a melon plant and she boiled it for me and I had to drink water from this melon leaf. As a result, I was cured. The same thing happened when I got sick again for the third time. She took some leaves from a plant and boiled them for me. When I drank it I was cured. This mermaid of the Indian Ocean knew the chemical property and the healing power of plants and trees and their healing capacities. In the Egyptian and Babylonian civilization, the priests were in contact with these supernatural beings who know the enigma and mystery of nature. People in these civilizations were using herbal medicine. While I was living together with this water mermaid every day at home, the food was appearing on the table or the fridge but I did not know where they came from. And so for several years, I had food that appeared like that in my fridge, not knowing where they came from. The mermaids consider it an obligation to get food to appear for me because she would not cook. As soon as I began to live with Shanta, I quickly noticed that her natural smell was that of a fragrance. The perfume was her natural smell and sirens also wash with perfume. I remember when I was looking for deliverance, I went to a church but during the worship, I felt the smell of a mermaid on a lady. I told the lady that she had a siren in her body. She would not accept that the mermaid spirit of the water was in her body. And she did not like what I said. She began to debate with me. But in the end, I asked her, "Are you married to a wealthy man in the country?" She answered negatively. I asked her, "Do you often walk by the river?" And she said to me, "I often walk with my mother by the river." I told her, "One day while you were walking with your mother near the river, a water siren entered your life. This is the reason why you are releasing the perfume of the smell of sirens." This lady of the ocean was bringing me perfume when she traveled to her country under the Indian Ocean. She brought me a lot of things, but most of the money that she brought me, I had to use it the same day. It is necessary to know that there are powerful fallen angels who reign with Satan in the invisible world like Belial, Leviathan, and the Queen of Heaven. The main activity of the siren of the Indian Ocean is sexual immorality. Shanta was sending me in the street to throw our mystical powder at night in crossroads and roundabouts, in all the public places where men and women are at all times. This enchanting powder was causing sexual depravity among the victims. The mermaids and sirens were also working with Leviathan, who is represented by the crocodile totem in the clothing brand called Lacoste. She also works with Medusa, who is a huge siren. A mermaid is not a man or a woman. She is a supernatural entity.